What's happening, people? We're back here once again on CubCamTV, and as you can see, we're not in the normal setting of the cave. We are moving around. We are taking it around the city right about now. We're doing something a little bit different. As we aren't on radio for a month, I thought let's expand and do things a little bit differently. So we are in the building with Hatter Ceezlin right about now. How are we doing, guys?
Bat.
What's good? What's good?
Come on.
This is what I've been looking forward to doing. You know, we've had it arranged for a couple of weeks, and obviously you are in the process of putting together this album campaign at the moment. But it's not like a normal album campaign, is it? You're doing stuff a little bit differently.
Yeah, we're calling it double drops. So obviously we put out 2 singles before, but there was a big gap between the first single and this single, like a year basically. And like, I don't know, man, I just thought we should try to do something different because I feel like we've spent ages on the project and I feel like even me, I'm guilty of it. Like in streaming culture, sometimes I don't really take in albums like that. Like I'll hear, you know, when you hear like one, like you hear the key of the beat and you're like, no, that's not really my thing. So I just skip to the next one. So I thought like if there's 2 at a time every Thursday.
I feel sometimes now you have to kind of stop yourself skipping.
Yeah,
a lot of the time you actually have to force yourself into listening to projects.
And that's like a weird thing to do, innit? Do you know what I mean? So I was obviously back in the day just taking an album, listening to it like 100 times. So I thought people would probably take in the music better like that. It remains to be seen if it works or not, but we wanted to try to do something different in it. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, with that then, have you found that affecting the kind of recording process? Like, was everything done before you started putting music out there?
Yeah, we already banged out all the tunes before. Well, except for 03 that came out first.
Yeah.
That's when we were, halfway through the album?
I think, like 03 was the first tune, innit? And I think that was like what kind of made us be like, oh, let's make an album, innit? Because it's funny though, there's like a Facebook post on my wall from T, like, in like 2009, innit? Like, fuck these old guys, man, let's make an album. But obviously it didn't happen like till now, innit? But yeah, it's been a while in the making.
I was going to say, because you two have been making music together, and not necessarily just making music, but have been in the same sort of group, the same sort of group of people making music, and been in that sort of community environment for a while now, haven't you?
Yeah. We definitely we got a similar taste in it. We like the same kind of music, and similar taste in like picking beats and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You make the kind of beats I like.
Yeah, I think it's one of them ones where like there's lots of people that I make music and that with, but it's like T said, like even though the taste of what we listen to might be a bit different, like we're not precious about music, and I feel like some people that you work with are proper precious, like, oh, let's spend like a year on this one tune. Whereas me and T are like, it's quick, and it's not like forced, innit? Do you know what I mean? But it just runs naturally. So it just ended up being like, yeah, let's just do a whole project because it's working.
I mean, there's a question I've always kind of wanted to ask the pair of you, because you've both been active in Brighton's sort of musical community now for a long period of time. And obviously the city's changed over those years, and you're people that have been active from quite a young age. And obviously everyone sort of takes times when they're not as active and kind of dip in and out. But you two have remained pretty active throughout the majority of that time. What's the biggest change you've noticed in Brighton's musical sort of community more than anything?
More people make music, I think, bro.
Yeah. Everyone reckons they can do it now, innit?
Yeah. Not necessarily.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it's pretty kind of saturated now, innit?
Yeah, and I think like not just with the rap thing, not saying it's saturated, but I think there's that whole like QM scene, innit? Like the neo soul jazz thing that kind of popped up like 5-6 years ago maybe. But I think that was kind of cool because it kind of injected like a new lease of life into it, and obviously them man are fans of rap, innit? So we got booked for shows through them, like separately obviously or whatever, and then I met people like Sylvia's on the album twice, innit? And really like we met kind of because of that thing, do you know what I mean?
True, say, yeah. For me as well, one massive thing I've noticed is the accessibility to release music is so much easier now than it was a little bit back in the day, you know what I mean? Like anyone can grab a mic, record it, get it engineered to a decent level, not by a professional, could just be your boy that's decent at getting shit to a listenable level, and then put it out on like DistroKid or whatever these platforms are that release your music onto all the streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify and YouTube and shit. Like YouTube, for example, that's like the biggest A&R in the world now, isn't it? Just put your shit video you filmed on a whack camera or on your iPhone, because the iPhone, like phones these days, the cameras.
I'm getting in before any of the comments start saying anything like that.
Like the phones these days, you can film a music video and make it look like it's filmed on a proper camera, whack it on YouTube, bang. You know?
Well, as soon as you start putting things like TikTok and things like that into the equation as well, the entire landscape of things changes.
Oh yeah, man. Like, I've been talking about TikTok recently with some people, but it's difficult. They're like, you can't ignore it, but it's like it's so alien to me. Do you know what I mean?
Fully. Well, you know, maybe it's a generational thing. Then,
I think it is, isn't it?
Because I look at it myself and I kind of go, I could try to get involved with this, but I don't know. I'm more than anything else. I'm not up for making as much of a tit of myself, realistically, as to kind of pop with it.
I feel like it would be forcing it. Do you know what I mean? If I started doing TikTok videos, because it's gonna be like, well, he's only doing it for one reason. It's not like an organic thing, innit? And because we was putting songs on MySpace, bro. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Bebo, bro.
Yeah.
Sharing the love and shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
man. Like, and it's like T said, back in the day, there was like 3 people in Brighton that had a mic in their yard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Back in the day when you record, when you snap the headphones in half, sellotape it on the wall and record through the headphones.
Like, you know what? Yeah.
That's the era back in the day.
First tune I ever recorded in year 9 was at Marissy's house, and yeah, we used the speaker as a microphone, innit? So it's this little speaker, handheld one, and we wrapped into that, not even a headphone, a speaker, and yeah, obviously time changing it. You know what I mean?
Course. I was gonna say, what's like the kind of most? I was going to ask what the kind of most DIY scenario you found yourself in recording wise is from back in the day.
I've got stories for days on this shit. I remember when I can't remember how old I must have been. This when I lived in the house that I grew up in longest. So I must have been between 5 and 10 years old. And like a family friend bought me these, I don't know, like Disney or fairy tale stories on a cassette tape. There was like 10 of them in like a box. And I got that shit and I was like, I don't want that shit, bruv, you know what I mean? So I just put sellotape over the top of the corners, put it inside the stereo, and then you press play and record, and you rap into the fucking speaker, and then it plays back on the fucking tape.
That is madness. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the case.
Yeah, that's more extreme than mine.
Have you still got it lying around?
Nah.
No.
I might have buried them like in the old garden or some shit.
Time capsule,
Yeah.
I think 2 things stick out in my mind, innit? Do you remember when we used to record at Head Nods? He had a canvas wardrobe, like, and I think we put the mic inside the canvas wardrobe with the clothes, and then someone put a duvet like on the back of us over the top. So it's like a vocal booth. And then when I was living in West Ham, I had like a mattress on the floor in my room, innit, and I just used to be like, oh, whatever, and I think I put the mattress against the wall, and then I had like another mattress, and it was like a booth, and like sometimes I was just like, oh, I can't even be bothered to put it down, and I just sleep in the living room or some shit.
I swear that's how we made WMWM.
Yeah, that's true. That's how we a tune on my first album, which was like one of the first tunes that was just me and you in it. Yeah, that's how we recorded that actually. Yeah,
bruv, another joke's on. I remember one time recording with Tech, we couldn't get the music to play out the headphones at the same time as recording. So it took me, he was like, bruv, you're not going to be able to stay on beat. I was like, trust me, I got this. It took him ages to convince me. I'm trying to record a cappella with no beat in my headphones. And then I'm like, I'm not off beat, what the fuck? What's going on? It took me ages to realise that you need the metronome or something, you know what I mean?
See, the thing is, I'd love to be able to like dig out all of the old tapes and just kind of go. To be fair, that's where everyone kind of came from with this, you know. And I feel the kind of difference now more so than anything else is I feel there's a lot of stuff not necessarily on a plate, but as you said, a lot of things are a lot more easily accessible now than rather than having to go through those more sort of things of having to find out ways of making things work.
Do you know what else it is? I think like everyone's more clued up. So,
yeah, that's true.
For instance, like when I was going, because I know you went to like YM and that in it back in the day. We used to do audio active at BYC, and like I didn't know what mixing and mastering was. I just went there to slap a tune in it. But now when I do the same thing, you used to like, yeah, it'll sound sick when you've like mastered it and that in it. And I'm like, what? How the? Do you know what I'm saying? Like what? They're like 14. How do you know what mixing and mastering is like? So I feel like, and the whole like standard of UK rap is like so much more like slick sounding. Like back in the day, like I see a post about it and it's true, like all the UK rap anthems were like on American beats, innit? Like Talking the Hardest. If you're talking about UK rap, obviously there was the hip hop scene as well, but like they're all just mixtape tunes, innit? And now there's like obviously, you know, that Donny that produced all the stuff for like Pop Smoke in America and stuff like that, innit? So I just feel like everything's just like stepped up in quality, innit? Do you know what I mean? You can't really make like unless that's your aesthetic, like you can't really make some real ghetto sound.
Yeah,
shit.
It's quite difficult to do it and make it sound like you're not purposefully being lazy with it to an extent. It's quite difficult to do. I mean, it's all really interesting, and obviously one of the reasons I was really keen to get this conversation popping was because obviously with this album, there's 2 of you involved in it, and there's a lot of collaboration going on as well. And we are in the studio where I believe a lot of the stuff for it was recorded over the course of putting the album together. There's going to be some stories which I love to get off people. So we're going to talk about 3 different tracks from the album. Which is the first one we're going to talk about?
What we said, boys.
Let's do Blue Stars, bro. Come on.
Yeah. So
check this. So basically, there was a group of lads, right, who shall remain nameless. One looked similar to me, one looked... And basically, there was this blue substance that we managed to get our hands on.
They?
To give to them. And we didn't know what it was. But they ended up taking this blue substance on New Year's. And then it turned out the blue substance was really, really powerful. So one of them thought it'd be a clever idea to hide it, so they both couldn't find it ever again.
Okay.
But then, a few months later, the blue substance...
It was like 7 months, you know.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, it was 7 months ago. And allegedly, it turned up at the house that we didn't even know it was at. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't know it was at, you know.
That's it.
And then obviously the tune came from the back of that. So
Well, then,
like,
yeah, there was another party at a house that one of those guys lived at with some other people, and at an early point of the morning, that blue substance got consumed again, and one of the guys thought it'd be a good idea to make a jungle tune.
Well, actually, one of the guy's girlfriends asked him if they could make a jungle tune. So the guy and his girlfriend made the first ever beat that they'd made together, and it came out banging. And then the other guy that knew the guy was in the other room with a girl.
Yeah.
And then they both came into the studio room, and then that guy sung over a jungle break, and then that everyone left the party and that, and then the guy that made the beat stayed up at 9 a.m. and recorded a verse in it, and then everyone didn't really remember the tune getting made, and then listened to it, and then the blue substance actually genuinely disappeared.
Yeah. And that, literally the blue substance literally disappeared. And also the sad thing, but kind of a good thing, is that blue substance is done now. You'll never be able to get it ever again.
It went through the washing machine, I think.
The person that...
So the tales say.
Allegedly. It's unorthodox, isn't it? It's unorthodox, man. It's unorthodox.
Well, there we go. I feel this is a good way to start off the storytelling section of this interview.
When you move forward, then you might get left. School days, we listen to shy effects in retrospect. Parties like Claire's ones had to scrap fair ones.
On to the second tune we're going to be talking about. It goes by the name of Boys. Talk me through this one. There's an interesting story behind this one, I think.
Yeah, so Boys is basically like our language kind of thing. So it started off, had a mad beginning to the year, innit? And we was like, a lot of us were hanging around together. It was mainly me, Ceezlin, Pav and PVC. And we were just like...
Frass boys?
Frass boys, basically, yeah. Frass boys. And that's what it started off as. But then we just started putting boys after everything, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're going to the gym boys. Oh, food boys if you're hungry.
Straight out of secondary school.
And it just
sort of
standard
thing.
And then, like, I remember the most, when I realised how dumb it was when I hit my shin. I was rubbing my shin, like, shin boys. And everyone around, but you know what the funny thing was? Everyone's like, oh, this is so dumb. But everyone that started rolling with us for like a night would be saying boys by the end of it.
Trendsetter boys, isn't it?
Yeah, literally. So, like, I don't know, it happened like that. And then we were just because we say boys all the time. In fact, there was a point where every beat that I made was called something boys, innit? So it'd be like trap boys, or soulful boys, something boys.
R&B boys.
Yeah, literally just dumb like that. And then we was in the studio and we started a tune, and T's first line was like, what do you know about Shade Boys? And then we were just like, let's make every line have boys after it. So, like, I don't know what the boys count is on the tune, but it must be, like, in the hundreds, bro. Like,
something like 100 boys or something like that.
100 boys, trust me. Bare boys, isn't it?
Even, like, conceptually, though, that's something that does seem... You seem to see artists do something like that. Like, once in their sort... I mean, best example, Wiley with Gangsters. Like, it's a good example of a similar sort of thing. And it must have been quite interesting, kind of, on the writing side of things, obviously switching things around and going, we're going to make every line have this in it.
It was fun writing that one, isn't it?
Yeah, proper. I think, like...
And we could have gone on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, bro. We had to lock it. We had to stop ourselves. Do you know what I mean? I think like
N boys.
that's the last bar of the tune. Still, I think limitations make things like creative, innit? You know what I'm saying? So we had to put boys at the end of every word. So then you have to be creative, innit? Like, I think sometimes, and I think if you're a barrer, like, if you like hearing people rap, like people that don't like rap will still find it funny, but if you're a barrer, you'll appreciate it because you're like, yo, they had to end everything with boys and they managed to do that with it. Do you know what I mean?
Also, that shit makes it, like, repetitive shit makes stuff catchy in it, really.
Like, it gives it the sing-along.
Yeah, like the example you said with the Wiley tune Gangsters, like, makes shit catchy. You know?
One of my favourite grime tunes as well.
Definitely. It's off one of my favourite albums ever as well. That Playtime's Over.
Yeah.
What you know about Shade Boys? Always on the wave, boys. Coming like Playboys. Make the stay moist.
Stout, that's Dragon Boys. Off the wagon boys. Arsenal Cannon Boys. Gammon Boys.
Okay, cool. So we've got two, and we've got one more to talk about. If it's the one I think we're going to do, I'm looking forward to hearing this because it's a tune that we've been playing on radio quite a lot over on the channel. So let's talk through it. Let's talk through Cabman.
Cabman. Well, Hats, I guess over the years, the amount of wavy cab rides we've had have been fucking ridiculous, bro.
Yeah, insane, man.
There's a few in particular.
I feel like, yeah. So I think the reason I wrote it, or started writing it, and then me and T wrote it together was we were coming back from our mate Stag Do, and it was in Cunch in it basically. It was like bare far, it was like Uckfield. So
it was Rag and Bone, man.
I'm gonna edit an explosion straight after that.
Yeah.
I was trying to play it cool, man. But yeah, we came back from Rag and Bone Man Stag Do, and like obviously it was wavy settings, innit? And so when we've got in the cabin, I just remember everyone was just so waved, and like I remember just like having my head like hanging out the window, like trying to freshen myself up a bit. You know, and it's like hot and stuffy in the cab. It was like summer and that, and I was thinking, it's too mad. And just remember thinking the next day I've thought this a few times in my life, just thinking, what the fuck did the cabman think about that? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bro.
And they're like, it's like, you know when criminals speak to their lawyer and the lawyer's not allowed to like say anything that they say, innit?
Like silent witness, sort of.
Break the confidence. I feel like cab drivers see so much stuff and just keep it to themselves, innit? Like, not always, obviously, but I just feel like they could all probably write.
Do you know what it is? It's cab drivers and barbers. They're the ones that know the most.
Bruv, I just thought of the jokes thing. Do you remember that time we've been on a mad roll through or some shit? We went back to my parents' yard, and then and we're all faded. And I got my dad to tell the story to everyone about how he met my mum.
Yeah.
And then we ended up getting like a big people carrier taxi, like an 8-man taxi, to a next yard. And then for some reason, we were all just convinced that we didn't have to pay for it.
Yeah,
so we just went into the yard, and the fucking taxi went back to my parents' house. My dad had to pay for it, and he was screwing as well.
So there was
That's what Uber does, man.
Yeah.
Is this pre-Uber? Is this pre-Uber?
I'll tell the cabbie story, innit?
Cabbie, shit, yeah. So this is a few years ago as well. Me and Eyes got asked to do this advert for this app called Cabbie, like a similar thing to Uber.
It's before Uber Bus, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was a few around the sort of. My Taxi was another one. Just the start of Uber as well. Yeah.
So Cabbie was another one. Fake taxi. So Cabbie was another one that popped up, and me and Eyes were asked to do like a fake beef and rap battle on the back of a bus, and all the cameras are set up, and there's an unsuspecting person on the bus who's been set up by their friend,
and then everyone else is actors, isn't it?
Yeah, and everyone else acts on the bus. So it was sick. So you had like one where there's a girl who's really drunk on the bus and she's projectile vomiting. They've got the vomit machine behind her, so she's like spraying out the vomit, and then everyone on the bus is like, what the fuck? Or not everyone, the person that's been set up. You had a stag do where everyone's dressed up as sumo wrestlers.
Yeah, that
you
was
had a food fight on the bus, and then me and Eyes' one was obviously we're like rivals on road or whatever, bump into each other on the bus, have an argument, and then it's like we're about to have a fight, and then we have a rap battle on the bus. And so Marissy's there, Hatter's there. Who else was there?
Dubsy. RV was there as well.
RV, a few other people.
I think, yeah.
But yeah, so we're me and Eyes are on the bus acting like we're having an argument, and it got a bit intense. And this poor bird who's on the bus, who's been set up by our friend, thought we're about to have a massive scrap. And she got up off the bus.
They just ran,
and just legged it and left that night.
But it didn't even get that far. Like, it was like, because we were sat, I think Eyes was on his own in the sketch or whatever. And we were sat together, and he's got on the bus, and we were like, what? Everyone stood up, and the chick just sprinted off the bus, like straight away, bro. Like,
she literally goes, I don't want to be here. And she ran off the bus. So jokes.
It was in like, I think they were filming in South London somewhere as well. She was like, fuck that, I'm not involved.
We had to go off the bus and be like, it's a joke.
Yeah, and then
get her back on the bus.
She had to be told that she'd been set up, and then come and film it, pretending that she didn't know she was being set up the second time, because she just ran off the bus.
The app never popped off.
Oh, it's a shame.
I'd
say use the first take. That'd probably be more interesting.
It was like 20 seconds long, like if that.
What must the Catman think? In the back of the cab while I back this drink. Head out the window, fam, I'm done.
Awesome, guys. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been really, really good to speak to the pair of you today. Thanks for inviting me down. I really do enjoy it down here. Whenever I'm down here, I seem to be filming something.
Yeah,
You need to come to one of the sessions.
Sessions.
Yeah.
Come down with one of the cameras.
There's a lot of heat.
There we go. I'm looking forward to it. Well, when's the full project dropping then?
So 17th, yeah, because it's the 10th tomorrow, right? So yeah, the full album will be available to listen to on the 17th of December.
Days.
Yeah, you will die in 7 days.
7 days to live.
17th of December, and then obviously it's been released in stages, innit? But by the time people hear this, all they got to really know is that the full thing to listen to back to front to back will be 17th of December. So yeah.
That's what we like to hear. Guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll all speak soon.
Yeah,
Love stuff.
Shouts to KXVU, man, every time.
One love.